So I swallow the bitter pill. I'm a company guy. I get bumped from WrestleMania. Then I get bumped from Backlash. I'm not good enough to call Backlash.
You are listening to AM Thunder, the official pay-per-view review show of Kayfabe Talk Radio. And now your hosts, Eric the Red and Mr. Bones. Okay, there we go. There's the audio unmuted, and welcome everyone to this edition of AM Thunder, late night edition. I am Eric the Red, joined along with, as always,
Mr. Bonzo. I'm a little hungover right now.
how you feeling, Bobby?
Oh, I had a little bit of nip of some margaritas.
Oh, very cool, very cool. Late Cinco de Mayo celebration there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I got to celebrate. I came out of my semi-retirement on Saturday night. When we went to our good boy Murdoch's show Saturday night. That was a nice adventure.
Oh, how was the show?
Awesome. Unfortunately, I know you couldn't make it through to work, but awesome. And I want to take this time because I feel like I don't get a chance to. And I tell David I'm gonna do it, but I always somehow forget and all that. But everyone who's a fan of rap, or hip hop, who's a fan of the show, who's an aspiring artist who deals with anxiety, depression, or just really enjoys like I said, hip hop, rap, or any type of music, please check out my good friend Murdoch. You just type in Murdoch on YouTube. That's MURDOCK, much like Matt Murdock, which is where he got the influence of the name. And
oh, god damn it! I knew you were gonna bring that up.
Yeah, yeah. So please guys give him a shot. Very good artist, and we'll probably play more of his stuff throughout these shows later on. For future episodes to come. But it was a fun show. He had a couple acts. The place that we were at was really cool too. It was a FM lounge. It was the FM lounge in downtown Jersey City. Really cool, actually. Sound system's incredible. So, but yeah, and then last night I was at Backlash, and there was a lot of controversy on this pay-per-view. A lot of opinions, and
I really don't get a lot of the controversy because it's not. Put it this way, I was hungover. And I was going into it still kind of half-cocked, but how brutal I can be. Like when something really pisses me off.
Oh yeah.
There was really nothing that majorly wrong with the pay-per-view. It's more of the same. It's more of the same. I couldn't really be that pissed off with it.
Well,
there was nothing there that was just so blatantly fucked up that I had to go rant about it. It's a B be pay-per-view, and what did you really think? Did you really think they were gonna? Come on, like Roman's put over Brock, actually three previous times if you count the what was it, 6-man match that they had like last year, the SummerSlam match, but he ate the pin. So you from the past year, Roman's eaten 3 pins from Brock. So actually no, 2 pins and then the whole fucked up botch finish from Greatest Royal Rumble. So he's lost to him 3 fucking times. So what did you expect? Do you think they were gonna just allow him to lose again?
With the Greatest Royal Rumble, I didn't catch it at first, but like Joe Numbers of the Soup kept saying that he's saying, I don't know why they keep replaying them going through the cage, because all you see is the zip tie flying in the air. And I didn't get it until they replayed it on the giant screen at Prudential Center, which I don't know if you've been there in the past year, but they have the biggest like scoreboard now. And it's fucking beautiful. And the screens are gigantic, you see everything crystal clear. And then they replay it, and they replay in slow motion, and I yell really loud, "Oh, there's the zip tie!" And then people just start dying laughing, and I'm like, I didn't realize it. Like, I've been told for like the past week that like there was a zip tie flying around, and I didn't see it until now.
They really used a fucking zip tie to like keep the cage.
Oh god, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, Eric, come on. Like, remember how much shit we gave TNA for, or were they still TNA at the time, or was that the transition into Impact? When they had that, remember that match where they had Bobby Lashley going through the fucking drywall?
Oh, that was, I think they were just about to transition into, well, they were still called TNA, but... Yeah,
so, yeah, when they had that whole, what the hell, it was the, Total Non-Separation.
Yeah, they went to an actual door.
Actually go through...
Yeah, they went to an actual doorway. You saw the door hinge, you saw the actual door, like, sticking out, and then you just see a piece of drywall.
But at least it was... you see the door hinge and the stupid bullshit, but at least they actually went through a fucking drywall. It wasn't like you didn't see a fucking gate held open by fucking zip ties.
Oh yeah.
No, but come on, like
this is $1 billion company, by the way.
How can you? This is $1 billion company, and they're using low grade materials to fucking keep. Like, how the hell didn't that just like fall off at any point?
I have no idea. I'm actually trying to get a still shot of that so I could show you. I know you believe me, but it's just it's too funny to like not see it.
I just don't no. I don't understand why they did it like that. Couldn't they have just had a? Couldn't they have just pre-clipped the fucking thing so like once he was nudged into it, it just came down?
You know what? No, I wanna know. I wanna see if anyone else could answer this. Is the cage that they have now, is this the same one that Bobby Lashley went through years ago? When he did that promo with Umaga? Because now I'm curious. I wonder if it's the same cage. Because back then, I don't know how they did that. But, I mean, the point is, like, they've done this freaking segment. Look, even, like, look, what was it, a year ago or whatever, they had, or a couple months ago, they had Braun throw Big Show through the cage. Like, did they use a zip tie back then? I don't know. Or a few months ago? I don't know. Okay, I'm actually looking now. It is a different cage.
Yeah, but I just feel like they could have done that a little bit better.
They could have done much better. They could have done much better. But again, it's WWE. Like you said, sometimes they're lazy, or they're even with their schedule, I'll give them a little bit of a benefit of doubt. Maybe they're tired because You know,
Yeah, but you know what? If you're gonna do a fucking like finish like that, then like don't do the fucking finish if it's gonna look like shit. That's all I'm gonna say.
right. No, you're not wrong.
We're just going into we're just rambling on to Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but
You being at Backlash, how was that? And was it? I mean, obviously, I kind of know your thoughts, but how was the atmosphere there?
well, first off, I mentioned this last night. You know, for anyone that's listening from Wrestling Soup audience, and you're listening in, thank you very much for tuning in. You may have heard me last night. I told them because Mish asked me, what was the merch over there? What were the merch tables like? And you know, you saw Kevin Owens merch going. You saw Braun Strowman merch. You saw AJ Styles stuff. You saw a lot of the female stuff. Like I saw a couple like people getting Sasha Banks stuff, and you know, and all that. But really, the thing I saw the most was people walking around with all Bullet Club shit.
Yeah.
Maybe like I want to say maybe about 45% of the people that were there were wearing something Bullet Club related. And if it wasn't Bullet Club exactly, it was Finn Balor, the OGBC shirt that's out, Balor Club, you know, like, but it was mostly just Bullet Club fucking merch, like all over the place. Like that's what you saw on people.
It has to be killing Vince.
Oh yeah,
that has to be killing Vince.
And you and everyone else will be happy to know that while that's going on, my dad shows up there wearing a Super Kick Party T-shirt.
Oh my god!
I'm the one that's wearing a Daniel Bryan shirt. I wear a Daniel Bryan shirt because I'm like, fuck it. I never thought this guy would wrestle again. I got it. You know, it's the first time I'm seeing him wrestle in a couple of years. I'm like, I gotta wear a Daniel Bryan shirt. And he's just like, oh, fuck that. I'm wearing a Super Kick Party. And then sure enough, everyone's wearing Bullet Club. I'm like, wow. My dad gets the memo and I don't.
Oh, I mean, to be honest, at this point, like anywhere you go, Bullet Club is the biggest fucking ticket. You know, like
yeah,
they're the
mile.
Yeah, they're the biggest merch sellers right now. They're other than the little kids, still buying John Cena merch. You're really not gonna you're really not getting any.
Dude, there were little kids. Listen, there were 8 to 10-year-olds wearing Bullet Club T-shirts. There was kids wearing freaking Super Kick. I saw one kid wearing a Super Kick Club shirt, and I saw another one wearing a freaking Kenny the Cleaner T-shirt.
I still think there's like the little kids like wearing John Cena, but like you gotta admit that in New Jersey it is kind of it's more of a smart mark kind of area. This is kind of smart territory.
We're half an hour away. We're half an hour train away. When you're in that area, when you're anywhere between Hoboken, Jersey City, Newark, we're literally 20 minutes to half an hour train away from New York, and we're about a good hour and a half an hour and a half, 2 hour bus ride from fucking Philadelphia. We're literally in the fucking right in between, smack dab in the fucking tri-state area, and Philly's a smart mark territory, and New York is a smart mark territory. So by relation, New Jersey's pretty much that too. Don't get me wrong, you have your marks here, but you have just as much people that are gonna go, oh, let's go to. I remember the days we're all at Ring of Honor in the freaking Armory in front of like 2,000 people. Yeah, man, I remember seeing Brody Lee and freaking Samoa Joe there. Like, you have those people here, so it is very smart marky, and sometimes people forget that. Like, I forgot that. I forgot that Jersey's like that.
Oh yeah, it's Jersey's always been smart marky. But
Well,
to be honest, though, we do everywhere you go, you're gonna have marks. You're gonna have people that are, oh, if he doesn't win, I'm gonna be really upset. Like I wherever you go, that's the case. But overall, like, and you've mentioned this to me, like overall the crowd. What were your thoughts on the crowd besides the merch? What were your thoughts on the crowd itself?
I had a lot of fun just listening to the crowd, and I didn't do as much chanting as I usually would, because I was like, okay, this is my first pay-per-view. I kind of want to get more of a gauge as to what a pay-per-view crowd is like, as opposed to, necessarily fitting in. So I was just more like trying to observe people and see, who's really into who and whatnot, because a lot of the times we know on pay-per-views that the WWE screws up the audio. So
yeah,
I'm really paying attention, and overall the crowd's very, very, very polarized. They are very diverse. Like you have your marks, and then you have your smart marks, and you know who's who by who's wearing, not just by who's wearing what, but more so by the way they react to moves. Like, for instance, when someone's sitting there silent when somebody does a drop kick, yeah, pretty much means, okay, they're probably conditioned to this shit. But when you see someone go ooh to a works punch, that normally probably gauges right there, okay, that means that this person's more of a casual viewer, and because the casual viewers is what WWE wants, and I got that firsthand last night too, even more so, that the casual fans are more gonna look at it and react to everything louder, whereas the smart marks, the hardcore fans, are just gonna sit there and go, I'm gonna wait to react until something cool happens.
True.
But on the same
so
they
constantly want a big reaction, and that's the type of people that'll give it to them.
But also too, you also have certain matches on this card that we'll get into, and when we run through, I'm not gonna say it in this part right here. I'm gonna give my insight from the live perspective when we run down the card. But I'm trying to think of anything else off the top of my head. I will say this though, real quick. That silly segment that they did with No Way Jose and all that. So I found out from people that work there that was rehearsed about 4 or 5 times at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
That sounds like something Kevin Dunn would do. Yep.
That was overly rehearsed, and then they even had Elias, because they did a segment. They did like a post like this, like how they used to do Talking Smack. They did like a Backlash post show, and they had the stage set up, the interview section with Renee Young and whatnot for after the show. They had it ready to go in the back, but people heard amps and everything at like 5 o'clock in the morning coming from the warehouse where they had that all put together of Elias playing guitar and constantly trying to get his, like, not his, I don't want to say spots, but because he's playing an instrument, but he's trying to get his act together, I guess you could say. So it's so basically it was like it to me it sounded like they were just doing constant rehearsal time before that. And also too, I also was told that backstage Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan had some stupid fight in around catering. I don't know what it was about. I'm sure it'll progress more as time goes on.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
But yeah,
is that gonna fuck with their their whole? They've been talking. Do you think that was just like something to like because like shit like that happens, or like they, kind of give a like a fake storyline, or it's like it leaks out somehow, and then it's like, oh well, they're doing this now.
Yeah, or it could even be something for Total Divas. You don't know if they're trying to cast them.
True.
But also too, I after the show, me and my dad stuck around a little bit, and because originally we were like, oh, let's see if we could try to grab one of the chairs, which people were taking tons of them, and then now they're selling them for fucking $300 on eBay, which makes no sense because on eBay you can get for $150 plus shipping, of course, a WWF chair that has the autographs from fucking Road Dogg, Matt Hardy, and Edge. That says WWF on it for like half the price. So the fact that people are selling chairs for that much is disgusting. On a card that the internet claims is the worst pay-per-view ever. According to fucking Dave Meltzer's buddy there, Brian Alvarez. But
oh, Jesus Christ.
That's why people are saying it. Because if Brian Alvarez said it, then it must be true.
Okay, let's be honest here. It was not a terrible pay-per-view. It was a mediocre one.
Yeah.
It's a mediocre pay-per-view.
I'm not embarrassed and I was not embarrassed to be there. Like, that's another thing too. And and I could say this because there's nothing wrong with it. I put it on my Facebook. I didn't pay to be in there, and it wasn't like I fucking I was there some shady way. No, I won them the old-fashioned way on the radio, and the seats I were in, they were high up, but I still had a decent enough view, and I don't regret being there. I had a fun time overall, and it was fun with the crowd. It was fun. There were a lot of moments for me that I was like, okay, I enjoyed it, as opposed to, oh, this sucks. This is horrible. So
I feel like the issue is no, we do, like, there are times when it is bad, like the pay-per-views matches are bad. I didn't see enough here that would make me go, ew, this is all shit. It's just it just came off like, I feel like it was like a kind of like a above above average Raw or SmackDown.
yeah,
It didn't feel like a pay-per-view. It just felt like, okay, this is like a halfway decent card for like a regular Raw, regular SmackDown. And I had no problem with that. I was like, okay, fine. Like, some of the matches weren't great, but like overall, I wasn't like disgusted. Nothing. There was nothing here that made me go, what the fuck? Other than like the ending, like the final match. But then that was just a matter of the lead up to the finish not making any fucking sense, and I'll talk about that later on. But
yeah, we'll get into that piece by piece.
I didn't really see much there to really piss me off. It wasn't like it was overly political. The only thing I will say is, that fucking boring goddamn bullshit. That promo that Nia Jax did was so fucking atrocious.
Yo, by the way, I'm gonna say like right now, like, seeing that promo, and people were booing her, which I'm sure you heard on the, because I didn't go back and watch the pay-per-view.
No. You want the best part about it is, as soon as you watch that, and have you seen it on the network yet?
No, the only thing I went back to watch on the network was honestly the Intercontinental title match, because I was like, oh, this is... But,
God, no, dude, seriously, go and fucking watch that, because as soon as that happened, guess what? As soon as that finished, Michael Cole is plugging that fucking Be a Star program. I'm dead fucking serious. They like you couldn't even be remotely fucking like serious about this. Like you couldn't even go. You know, and all she needed to say is, and this would have got her over if she had just said the last like line of the entire spiel she was going on for. All she needed to say was she picks up the fucking belt and she says like the last line of the sentence, you know, of that entire fucking speech, and she said, "Yeah, bullies get their ass kicked sometimes," and that's it. She would have came off like a badass. You could have like later on in the show when you went to a commercial, you could have had be a star, but no, they had to do it in the most fucking completely. And it wasn't even a bad match. It was just like you needed to do it like that.
I'll get into that match when we get to it, but the pre-show match though was Ruby Riott along with Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, which they got a really good reaction. I think a lot of it does have to do with how good Ruby Riott is in the ring, but part of it, like I'd say maybe a fraction of it is because they know that Liv Morgan is from fucking I think Hackensack or somewhere. I forget what part of Jersey she's originally from, but oh, I'm so okay, Paramus. So it was Ruby against Bayley, and a solid match. There wasn't. I missed part of it. I was just about coming back. I got there early, but it was just the thing. The thing though was, this is why I feel like that segment with Noe Jose should have been on the pre-show, because we were just sitting around for a good while to literally nothing. Like we literally everyone.
You still there?
Okay, my mic dropped out for some reason. Here you go.
Yeah, you were saying that.
All right, yeah. Where did it last
just
leave
sitting
off?
there, or not like there was. That's weird. Usually they have a dark match or something.
No, there was just no. You know why? Because they used like the ring as the backdrop, and they don't want it to be a thing where you see like the Titantron graphics, and then you see guys wrestling. So they have this stupid kickoff panel where they're talking, and then it's like, okay, well, you're not doing anything for like. They didn't do that match until like I want to say what 20 15 minutes until the show actually started. So we basically, if you were in your seats, you're sitting there for about 40 minutes with nothing to do. When they claim, oh yeah, the pre-show starts at 7, so it's like you could have done that. No,
Couldn't they
Jose
just had a
shit.
cruiserweight match or something?
That is something. I don't know. The reason why I say that is because these pay-per-views gotta stop going fucking past 11 o'clock. Like, cut it at like a little after 10:30. It did not have to go that damn long, but the match itself, when I got there, like I said, Ruby Riott's just really freaking good. I felt bad for Bayley because she didn't get that great of a reaction at all.
Well, they killed her character off completely.
Yeah, they fucking ruined her.
I'm sorry, her character was assassinated right around the time that they were doing that whole "This Is Your Life" fucking storyline, and she's never recovered. And now the whole fucking storyline. This is my major takeaway from this whole even this match, and especially the whole non-blow off that she's having with it's like they keep starting and stopping. Like she'll do something underhanded to Sasha will do something just as bad, and they're like, "Oh, we're still friends, right? We're still friends." And then
that's
the
going
next,
nowhere.
and it doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's like all the build up for both these girls, especially like if you had told me, you know, maybe 2 years ago that like these two were gonna be fucking Dolesville in terms of like character development and just not even they're like getting they're almost on par with fucking Alicia Fox right now in terms of like
Well,
yeah,
no,
I'm dead serious because you really think about it.
no.
Like, when was the last time they were in? No, I'm dead serious. When was the last time they were in any title contention?
But see, Alicia Fox is a different category because I always compared her. I always said that Alicia Fox is like the women's division's version of Kane or the Big Show because of how many times she was heel and she was face and she's a heel and she's a
Well,
face and she's a
it's
face.
not just the heel.
I know,
like,
yeah,
the heel
I know it's not
face
just that.
aspect, like
It's just she
the
comes out,
turns, but
again, they get better reactions than she does. It's not saying much, but I'd say Sasha still gets pretty decent enough or good reactions, but I know. And again, it's not like Bayley came out the crickets. She didn't come out the crickets. It's just you take a girl who had so much hope 3 years ago in NXT, and now it's like she comes out here and it's like maybe a fraction, or not even a fraction. It's like maybe a couple hundred people out of 14,000 people cheer her. It's like, yeah, that's not good. And that's what I mean when I say she's not getting a reaction. It's not crickets. It's just when you have so many thousands of people there. Yeah, it's yay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's ridiculous. I just. And what was okay? And when I was really like, when you really look at the card, it's just like, yeah, this just. I get why people are annoyed because it's like, okay, what was the point of Backlash? Isn't that supposed to be? Isn't this supposed to be like? If there was going to be a fifth major pay-per-view, wouldn't this be it? So I kind of understand why people are annoyed. At the same time, I can't. There's nothing here that overtly gets my goat, though.
You also got to keep in mind too, like these guys and girls are all exhausted. They did a South African tour, came back to the States, did a Saudi Arabian show, went to Canada to do TV, did this pay-per-view. Now they're here.
What was the point of doing Backlash this early? Like, I was watching something, and I was watching Brian Zane talk about this pay-per-view, and he made a really good point. It's like last time you had the first time that they had like the inner usually like the first time that they ended up doing this, like having Raw versus SmackDown, it was like you had almost a year before that happened, and that was in Survivor Series. And now it's like, okay, well, what the fuck is the point of the brand split if you're making them face each other?
Well, the thing with that is those matches with like Samoa Joe and Roman and Seth and Miz. Those matches were already announced before they were already going on to SmackDown. But even then, I correct me if I'm wrong, but when they're doing shakeups because you're changing the writing team's fucking ideas around, wouldn't that be discussed? Shouldn't it have been a thing where, hey guys, don't announce these matches because those guys are going to the opposite show.
Well, it's also when you get right down to it, it's let's be honest. And I think I mentioned it. I wrote this on a page where the guy was saying, "Oh, it's the writing staff's fault for all the woes going on in WWE." He said, "Not really. Really, when you think about it, the writing staff aren't they like in terms of the low man on the totem pole? They're the ones that get blamed for all stupid shit that goes on in the company. But to be honest, most of them are out of the company within a few years. You know, they don't last too long, and most of the time they're taking the majority of the blame for the really stupid decisions. But when you really get down to it, it's Michael Hayes and Bucky Beaver, the ones that fucking call the shots. And Vince is in Gorilla, fucking bitching and complaining to the announce team that they're not pronunciating properly or whatever his fucking stupid conniption fit is for the fucking week. Whether they're calling the fucking briefcase a briefcase or a contract or whatever the fuck, he's having his goddamn conniption fit, and then they have to worry about him fucking his cantankerous fucking senility and Stephanie's fucking constant focus group, political aspiration bullshit, and then you gotta feel fucking sorry for these guys because they're getting, like, how many times are they getting told by 3 or 4 different people that they all want something different? Because Kevin Dunn is just basically whatever looks good for his direction and production. He just wants it to look good. And if you get on his fucking nerves, then he'll go out of his way to fuck you over. Because that's the case. It's like, if you could be the best writer, if you end up getting, in the way of, because that's at the end of the day, Vince doesn't really give 2 shits about the writing anymore. He's in Gorilla screaming about stupid bullshit that no one really gives a fuck about, and he's just plugging, the network, and everybody else is, stuck dealing with the little minute problems, and the writing staff is the one that gets fucking blamed for everything. So you gotta feel fucking sorry for them. I don't like, everybody goes, oh, they're just the Hollywood writers. It's like, no, they're not. I looked up a lot of these guys. Some of these guys are fucking ex-wrestlers, and fucking Mick Foley's son is like an assistant on the writing staff now.
Yeah, well, Dewey's been there for, I want to say, about 2 years or so. Yeah, Dewey's been there for at least about 2 years, and
man, I would have been burnt out already. Just dealing with all the
but he's not on the road. He's not on the road though. He's out up in Connecticut.
No, so he's like just feeding them ideas.
He's like, okay. He was an assistant for a while. He got his niche doing doing paperwork and all that shit. Like, pretty much, doing what the assistant does. To now, he has a level of input. He has certain ideas that are listened to, but it's more of like, he's not ready to be a creative just yet, but I think they're grooming him to be, which I will say, when he takes over, and Mick Foley's gonna fight for him, within that company, in the sense of, if Vince ever goes, what's the matter with him? Foley's gonna come right in and say, hey, leave my kid alone.
Yeah. Which Mick has. I've heard this. You ever heard the story where Mick fucking cursed out at Vince because he was screaming at him over the mic? So
hey, that's one thing you gotta give props to someone like him, where it's like, he had the goal to fucking yell at Vince, where it's like, most of these people here, they're like, oh, we can't step on Vince. We gotta be respectful. Like, God forbid Titus O'Neil touches Vince again. But it's like, you gotta have a little bit of fucking cojones every now and then to go, hey Vince, you shut the fuck up for once and just listen. So, that's why it's one thing with with this writing team. I feel like the problem is they are on eggshells. No one there has enough passion to say, "Hey Vince, see it this way, please," or just 1 second, stop what you're doing, stop thinking the way you're thinking, and let us, take reign here. But no,
Well, I don't even think Vince.
fighting
I
for
don't
this
even think
spot.
it's Vince anymore. That's the one that's tampering them. Because
I think he's
he's
more.
basically
I do think
he's
though he's not as much on the oversight as he used to be. I do think he has his input on Roman on what they want to do with that. He has his input on the commentary, but it is more so Stephanie. It's more Kevin Dunn. It's more Michael Hayes. It's more Ed Koskey, Road Dogg, Ryan Ward, so on and so forth. It's a lot of those people that are around that are calling the shots. A lot of them obviously are not very good, and a lot of them are very debatable. But it's a lot of it has to do with just laziness. That's what it more comes down to, and the laziness comes from them all being burnt out. Like, look, that's why Backlash got the short end of the stick, and I've been saying this for weeks now because of this fucking Saudi Arabian show. It's the Saudi Arabian show comes in. Hey, look, we're gonna give you $200 million. Yeah, well, a card that you had booked, in the States here, you pretty much fucking, gave that not any favor, didn't do that any favors because we had to have this guy and that guy and this person and that person. So they put all their eggs in one basket on that Saudi Arabian show, and now they're going to the UK for 2 weeks, which is why they had to do Backlash tonight. So they're doing too many fucking tours outside of the country, so they're burnt out.
see
That's what it comes down to.
my whole thing is if you're gonna do the whole point of the brand split was to relieve some of the to kind of give guys that are not gonna are gonna be lost in the shuffle if you have a full roster, but you'd think you'd think they would have the common fucking sense to go, hey, we kind of split the roster, so why don't we have one roster goes to and does a tour, and then at the different like you do like a revolving tour, so you're not just burning everybody out by having them all go on the same fucking tour and killing themselves, and then suddenly having a fucking joint pay-per-view in the same month.
Yeah, that's what I see. That's the thing, though. Back in the day, it was you're doing a brand split. It's okay. Somebody's in Chicago, the other person's in Argentina. The next brand is gonna go to tour in Japan. The next one's gonna be here in fucking Philadelphia.
Yeah, but weren't they doing that last year? Because I remember they had a remember they had SmackDown on tour last year, and they had AJ Styles come back so he could wrestle. They had him come back and wrestle Finn. What the fuck? What pay-per-view was that?
TLC, that's right.
TLC. So, because he was down in South America that they were doing the tour. So, why didn't they just continue to do that? Like, it doesn't make sense that they're forcing all these guys to go on tours all at once, especially considering this is kind of a busy season. Is it's like right after you're right after a WrestleMania. Then you had this bullshit pay-per-view that you came up on the fucking fly, because let's be honest, Greatest Royal Rumble was, that was just off the seat of their fucking pants. He just got offered a ton of money, and then it was like, we kind of have to do this. And, you can make your speculations about whether or not it was a political thing or just because they offered them a ton of money. I have no fucking clue. I can say speculation one way or the other. I have no fucking, I have no kind of verification one way or the other. But I mean, it's kind of sketchy that the fucking Saudi prince was in New York, and then suddenly, right around the same time, oh well, we just announced that we're going to do a fucking pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia, and most of the royal family is going to be attending there. So, may take take that with a grain of salt, but and then you have this fucking pay-per-view, and like you said, it seems like they took all that production and direction and they kind of went to town with that, show, and then because it just felt like, oh well, we're just going to fucking Prudential. It's not like it, matters if we, have a lackluster pay per view. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah. So we're making the money.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was gonna say, yeah, they're saying to themselves, oh yeah, we're gonna make money despite of it being bad or good. We're just going there. Who cares? Meanwhile, that show has been announced for 6 months now. They announced Backlash 6 months ago, so it's like they actually had, a long time for this, for people to know about this, which, again, it was 14,000 people. The building for a wrestling show could hold close to 16, so they were almost about sold out. So it would have been a lot fucking better if, again, I'm not saying, they could have had Triple H and Taker. Nah, they didn't need any of them. They could have had a little more of that production. They could have gotten fucking Brock to show up there. At least, you'd done a cage match there. It would have been more of like, okay, well, at least the people that like Brock would shell out more money. They would make more money there, But no, again, and I'm not trying to blame this Saudi Arabian show. It's just, it's like, come on, man. Like, what? Like, everyone that's complaining about this pay-per-view is like, what do you expect? The company's exhausted. They just did this show, on the fucking brink of the, out of nowhere, really. So
I'm gonna say I'm not gonna. It's weird that we're like defending them in a way, but to be honest, I get what you're saying. It's like you're going on this this tour, but then it's like they're overreaching because they're doing all this extra bullshit, and they're the ones that are going to all these different countries and putting on this expansive tour, and then they're not delivering. And especially it's not like, okay, I could understand if this is like WrestleMania or the God Awful, because I honestly I'm probably within the minority, but I really thought this was kind of it was not a bad pay-per-view. It was just mediocre. There's nothing really offensive here, and that's one of the main things I wanted to say. But as far as like just pay-per-views that pissed me off or had like a fucking terrible message, I still say the Royal Rumble was probably the worst in terms of just pay-per-views that fucking annoyed me or really made me despise the company. So until I see something that's just as vile in terms of just gender baiting and overall just disrespecting the fucking talent as this year's Royal Rumble was, I really because I know, like, and I hadn't had no major qualms with the fucking Saudi Arabian like the whole Greatest Royal Rumble. I had really no qualms about it in terms of because they're just making money, and let's be honest, money makes the world go around. So I understand where they were coming from. I just thought they were kind of full of shit with the whole women's revolution thing. But
absolutely.
We already knew that. It's just another way of them making money, and they could give two flying fucks about the female talent. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. But overall, it was this pay per view that fucking bad? No, no, it wasn't. It's
People
just.
people will forget
And
about that.
obviously you have this Miz and Seth Rollins match, and that was fucking amazing.
Yes, which that was the next match in the card. Seth Rollins versus the Miz, and because I not for nothing. I know for a while you were giving a lot of the Shield guys shit, but you gotta admit, the past fucking couple months, Rollins is just really, really stepping it up.
I think he's been reinvigorated in terms of his match quality because this guy could always go. I mean, he's probably one of the top talents in the world. But as far as his matches, and especially when he was saddled look, I understand a lot of people like Dean Ambrose. I think you're a fan of him. You've been a fan of him as far back as when he was. Honest, I never really was. I think he was. I think he was put in a position that he was. And he's just doing stupid slow punches and he's like, oh, he's a lunatic. He's this tough guy. It's like, what's overly crazy about the guy? He dresses up like a fucking bounty from time to time, or he dressed up like an ice cream man, or he was in a bear suit the one time. It's like waka waka, as we make fun of the fact that he's a kind of a cartoony character, but there's nothing overly crazy about the guy.
Meanwhile, you got a guy by the name of Matt Hardy who's coming out there fucking spewing a lot of shit that some of the people that didn't follow the gimmick would be like, what the fuck is he saying? Where that guy comes off more of as a lunatic than fucking Dean Ambrose does.
And the weird thing is that they've always tried to make him the wild card in that whole Shield. The whole. I sound like such an old man, just like the Shield, but I wasn't in. I didn't really follow them around that time when they were coming in.
Yeah, when they were big.
I get it was around that time. It was around that time where John Cena, as much as he's he's still fucking booed now, but I mean, back then he was even more hated because it's that in between time where CM Punk is winding down, and this is before Daniel Bryan is the top baby face in the company, which you're getting to the point where these are your top these are your top guys, this is the top stable in the company, and I was just looking at him and that's still kind of my view on them, but Seth Rollins' work has gotten so much better, in terms of overall, he's always been a solid worker, but I mean, just lately he's had more pop. It hasn't hurt him that they've given him back his fucking finisher for whatever reason that they had taken it away from him originally. It's better that he's not using the fucking the pedigree anymore, which I always kind of hated him doing the pedigree.
I hated it too. Yeah, I hated it too. You know what move I will say? You know what move I liked though that he did last night when Miz was going for a crossbody, and he rolled around and held him, and he spun him around to do almost like a sitting rock bottom.
Yeah.
That from time to time would have been a cool finish too. And even done it like what you said, where it's on Monday Night Raw, you can have having pin guys with that move, and then on pay-per-views they kick out of it. So it's more of okay, this feels more like a pay-per-view match.
I think that's like the majority of like the talent should have two finishers. It's like how
I think the talent should be I think the talent should treat themselves like characters in like the fucking Aki wrestling games, where it's like you have a finisher from standing in front of the guy, you have a finisher on the top rope, you have a submission finisher, you have a finisher from behind. Like you have like fucking one character in No Mercy has like 4 different finishers. That's how wrestlers should be. It shouldn't just be.
The only thing you
I
should
gotta
have
do one
more
finish.
finishers, but at least
okay,
two,
like, enough,
and maybe like a submission or something like that, like something enough that they've seen the move enough that they can like figure out that like if you do that move, that can be the finish for the match.
Yeah.
But what it usually comes down to is and this is the annoying part, is because they either, like a lot of these moves now are either they end up taking away from a guy, or, they end up blacklisting the move altogether. It's, like you've had how many different, situations where a guy, has a cool finisher, and then the punt, and then they take it away because, it's too dangerous, and then you're basically getting RKO'd fucking 17 times because, hey, well, why can't you give the guy another finisher so it's not just the same fucking finisher every single time? And then it's like, okay, I've already RKO'd him fucking 5 times already, but the 6th time, that's the charm.
Yeah. Oh man, nah, you're definitely right though. That's
why I like AJ Styles, because and then you don't really know, because sometimes it's like a situation where AJ fucking hits the that's why his matches are way more suspenseful. It's like because sometimes he hits the phenomenal forearm, the guy kicks out, and then it's like, okay, he has to go for the Styles Clash, and then the Styles Clash is the thing he pins on, and then there's other times where he hits the Styles Clash and the guy kicks out, and he has to finish the match with the phenomenal forearm, so you don't fucking know, and that makes the match more suspenseful.
Or he'll use the calf crusher submission. He has 3 finishers. 3 finishers.
That's my whole thought on like that. They should give these guys multiple finishers. The same thing with the Miz. The Miz has the figure 4 and he has the skull crushing finale.
Yeah.
Like, give these guys multiple finishers just in case. Especially if they have a fucking protected finisher. Like, okay, and that's why I kind of wish they would give Kenny another finisher, and we're going outside into like New Japan and Ring of Honor and that, but it would be cool if they gave him another finisher, or they turned like they turned the V trigger into something where he could like pin off of, where it's just so you have something there, or it's just like they should do that just so if you have a great finisher, you're not using it every single time. You're not going to the well. And again, I hate to use Randy Orton as the guinea pig for my point, but like when you fucking RKO a guy 10 fucking times in a match, and the guy keeps popping up like he's like a fucking like like it's a whack-a-mole machine, and the guy keeps popping up every fucking like 1, 2, and the guy's back up again like a fucking whack-a-mole machine. It's come on, like how many times can you RKO a guy? It's like, come on, it's the same situation. It's like, okay, he kicked out of the fucking RKO. I guess we're gonna go to the punt and just kick the guy in the fucking head. Yeah. That's the whole point of a move like that. It's the same thing with The Rock. And even as much as a lot of people make fun of the people's elbow, realistically, for a very long time, who the fuck kicked out of the people's elbow? I remember people kicking out of the rock bottom, and that was a finisher. So, yeah.
That's why I think Steve Austin honestly should have had another finisher other than the stunner. And I hate to, and again, I hate to want to, because there are old school fans that go, oh, these are just millennials talking because this is the time now. Not really, because how many times have people complained about Hogan's leg drop? And a lot of those guys, including veterans such as Luthez, Gorilla Monsoon, etc., and always said Hogan doesn't know how to fucking work. So, yeah, it's always a thing where suspension of disbelief. Yeah, you want to end a match, you don't use just one move. Because in reality, in storyline, the whole premise of a pay-per-view match is when you're leading up to it, the person that you're supposed to be facing is studying your tape. You know, how can I counter this move? How can I counter that move? You hit them with another finisher that they're not expecting, or a submission. Guess what? It adds another element to the story.
Also, and I love, and this is going into, just having two finishers also adds another level to the story, because sometimes, I mean, and we've seen this with Minoru Suzuki, you have a finisher, and you get the guy in that finisher, and then it's like a big fucking ego trip where it's like, hey, I can easily tap this guy out right now, and he's gonna go, you know, fucking lights out. But I'd rather just, you know, win with my I'm gonna win with my mentor, my teacher's move, and it ends up, you know, fucking backfiring on him completely. So there's always like that little extra, you know, piece of matchmaking and storyline progression, and it's just like like you really think about it and you're like, yeah, they should have extra moves. Like, and you look at how many like people have different types of moves. Like it can go to the wheelhouse. It's the same thing with Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle had the Olympic Slam. And he had the angle lock. Even the fucking Young Bucks have multiple finishers.
Yeah, I mean, and again, to go back to the match, it's one thing, and again, this is, yeah, I've been saying this for years with Seth, where it's like, let the guy have more than just a curb stomp, because look, you took the move away from him to that stupid concussion lawsuit, he's got his move back, and it's like, we went through years of the pedigree, and some other weird variation of dirty deeds that he did, and then the rain trigger knee. So it's like he needs a finish, and it's like that move I just talked about a few minutes ago. Give him something like that, or let him. Can we? I say this as a really big fan of Rob Van Dam as well as Eddie Guerrero. Can we start pinning guys off of the frog splash again, please? Like pretty please. I'm sick of. That's one. I'll nitpick a little bit. I'm sick of that being a transitional move. Yeah, he does the Phoenix Splash, which is nice to see, but fucker, I'm fine with just a frog splash. In WWE, no one is doing it anymore. Literally, no one is pinning anyone. Like, Kevin Owens should be because of how big he is, and Rollins should definitely be fucking pinning someone off of a frog splash. Not saying it had to happen in this match, just this match was fine, but I'm talking about from now on, pin some guys on Raw with a frog splash.
I mean, in this day and age, I'm seeing people getting pinned off a fucking elbow drop, so...
Dude, the biggest draw in Japan is ending matches with a clothesline.
True.
Well, let's wrap our heads around that. The biggest, the world champion in Japan is pinning people off of a clothesline, and people go, "Oh well, now he's going from a German suplex into a tombstone into a clothesline." And ultimately, people see it as the Rainmaker clothesline is his finish, and that's what it is. So yeah, he's pinning people off of a clothesline. So, by all means, we could do a suspension of disbelief here, bring back some of these finishes, these older finishes, you know, and have them pin off of it. So,
I mean, there's certain ones that I think you can't really go with, because you have, yeah, like obviously the DDT. I still kind of like
For
roll my
sure.
eyes when I see fucking Bobby Roode pinning off of that. Bobby Roode and Dean Ambrose pinning off of DDT, and I kind of like just like, really, guys. When you're doing just traditional DDTs now, and they're going for fucking 1 counts, you're really pinning off a DDT here, and then you got the fucking draping DDT that from Randy Orton that looks completely fucking brutal, and
Yeah,
that's also a 2 count.
but also,
So
too,
I'm
dude.
like,
Okay, but thinking like this, too, and then, you know, I'll play devil's advocate a little bit. DDT is ultimately the head hits the fucking ground. What is Bray Wyatt's finish and Miz's finish? And even Cody Rhodes, too. It's the guy's head, you know, face first hitting the fucking mat. So if if those guys are doing these and people buy them as finishes, why not do a DDT? How about guys just use less DDTs as transitional moves? I know in the past damage is done, but there's nothing wrong with trying again.
true, but at the same time, it's like then it's like going back and saying, well, we can't use super kicks anymore.
Mm. You're on the right track there with that. Oh, man.
It's because how many people use fucking super kicks as transitional moves now, and that was a finish. I just hate the fact that like we've gone to the point now that anybody can use any move and it'll go for a fucking 2 count at any single point, and just like, oh well, it's not his. I hate the idea that people catch on to, oh, that's his finishing move, where it should be like at any point somebody can kick out of that move. It's just, it's the idea that the person is using that move with such velocity and such ability that people aren't going to be able to kick out of the move. That's the main point that I think is missed here, and I think that's what ends up being the case, where it's just like, oh well, he's using this exact move that everybody else does, but it's a weird fucking. It's wrestling psychology is so fucking weird now.
Yeah,
I can't fucking figure it out anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't know. That's why sometimes you just gotta take a step back and not get too over complex about it, because it's like, you know, promotions are gonna do what's right for the time, and you know, people are gonna do what's right for the time. It's like nothing adds up anymore. So, but anyway, and again, folks, apologize for straying away, but not for nothing. A lot of the topics we did just kind of tangent into were pretty freaking valuable topics to discuss that we normally don't get a chance to really talk about on the main shows as much. You know, as far as what's wrong sometimes with wrestling.
Also, I mean, it's the major issues within this pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You also have the fact that, okay, then this was a good match.
Great match. I love the
great match. I would say it's on par with, like, you know, some, like, I think personally I thought it was better than the 3 matches they had previously.
Oh, for sure.
The 3-way matches with weirdly enough, I feel like Finn was, like, out of the 3 guys, like, I think Finn was, like, kind of the and it's weird to say, because, like, I love Finn as a worker. I think they're better off just having the one-on-one matches, because it's like something's lost in the shuffle when you have like these. Sometimes when you have these 3-man matches.
Because
Uh,
dude, because they're close to ultimately one-on-one matches are more focused on the two individuals. Sometimes a three-way dance is more designed to give some guys a break. That's ultimately what it is. It's designed so people could take fucking, to take fucking a nap, like a 30-second nap, while the other guys go out there and fucking brawl. So, but yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Where it's like, because like a week earlier, you had Finn and Seth had a tremendous Intercontinental title match on Raw, and now they do, and then Finn, I'm sorry, Seth has this match on the pay per view, but it's like maybe there wasn't that great of a chemistry with Finn and the Miz. I don't know, but or maybe it's just the one-on-one dynamic was better here.
yeah, I mean, it would not to say that the 3-man match wasn't great. It wasn't good. It just overall, I think this is the thing. I think this and the previous match between Finn and Seth. I think the singles matches have worked better in telling a cohesive story. Um,
Yeah.
I wonder what they're gonna do in the long run with the Miz in terms of whether or not he's gonna end up going for the United States title. Which, yeah, I would actually kind of dig him going for that right now. I think the United States title is kind of right now it's very tarnished looking. Not that not that I hate Jeff Hardy. I just don't think I don't know. There's no it factor right now with him. And God, please don't put the belt back on either Bobby Roode or Jinder Mahal. Well, Jinder's in Raw now, right?
So is Bobby.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I
Uh,
told you all the scrubs are on Raw and all the good talents on SmackDown for the most part. And obviously you have good talent on Raw, but for the most part through the shakeup they put all the scrubs on Raw.
well, the scrub mid Carters.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, but
I
yeah.
I feel like really looking into that, I'd say like but kind of just give Jeff Hardy somebody to
I would like a Jeff Hardy Miz
bounce off
program
of.
too. I think that would be an awesome program. And I know people want to see, why aren't they doing Daniel Bryan versus The Miz? Would you rather it be on a pay-per-view you're going to probably forget about, or would you rather them wait till SummerSlam?
I would rather just see it like have it be for the U.S. title.
Okay, well you could do this. You have Miz get the belt at Money in the Bank, and then they do on the and then they have Daniel Bryan and him. They start that program, and then eventually it'll just lead into them doing a match or whatever. It's towards SummerSlam.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I just let's get Daniel away from Cass as soon as
Oh
possible.
God. Well.
I'm
All right.
hoping that was the blow off.
Well, let's get back to this card. So, next match was Nia versus Alexa. The crowd really didn't interact too much with these girls. Like, Alexa got good heat, I guess you could say. Like the crowd was booing her quite good, and you had your guys who were cheering her on because she's a really good looking girl. And then Nia comes out, pretty decent
Did
pop.
her breast look any bigger to you? Because I was hearing that whole bullshit augmentation thing. And it's like, did you notice anything different with her? Or is that just a bullshit thing?
Nah, dude. I saw. I mean, obviously, because how high up I was, I couldn't see like through the ring. But on the screen, yeah, they definitely look a little bit. They don't look too like over. Like she's not walking around with double D's or nothing. But she definitely had, work done. Like, she definitely looks,
That's annoying. That's kind of that's disappointing.
Again, I know it's probably her choice, but but hey, guess what? We were wrong. We thought because she got the boob job done that she was gonna somehow pull out a win, but they kept the belt on Nia.
Oh God, that you know what?
And then we got a public service announcement right afterwards.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
Which,
to be honest, Michael Hayes was probably saying, "Oh, you didn't give me a blowjob too. It's a honey. You ain't gonna win the title."
he's like, but Nia though, cushion for the pushing, baby.
Oh God.
But yeah, that promo was just, and I like Nia Jax, I like her a lot, and I like Alexa Bliss too. But two things here: one, these girls just need to smooth. This better be the last match, because I know they're good friends outside of WWE, but holy shit, do they not have chemistry?
They don't have chemistry because obviously it's such a size disparity.
It's a weird fucking match. And also, too, Alexa Bliss is not a flippy girl by any means. She's not a flippy girl. She kind of has that Adam Cole thing a little bit, where it's like a small person, but moves around like a heavyweight.
But wrestles like a heavyweight.
Like, yeah, Alexa does not, and she has some things. She does moonsaults and shit, but she's not on the level of like what Naomi sometimes does, or Sasha, or Ember Moon. She's really just more of a technical, showman type of girl, I guess you could say. But this promo...
What I don't get with it, what I don't get with this is, also, what the fuck happened to Asuka? What, did she fall off the face of the planet?
She's on SmackDown.
No, but I mean, like, so they didn't put her in any type of, like, okay, what I don't get is, after she lost, wouldn't you be really fucking pissed off, like, in storyline? I know I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah.
I'll just say the match was alright. It was nothing like atrocious. The whole stupid.
It was
PSA.
slow. It was slow.
The whole fucking PSA bullshit was a little too much. Obviously, it's like one step off of saying, "Oh well, yeah, it's okay if you beat the shit out of your boy. It's perfectly fine." Even though like the whole, it's like I kind of like WWE for saying that, because now I'm thinking in my head, it's like it's given a whole bunch of kids like this weird mixed message where they're saying, well, guess what? It's perfectly fine if you beat the shit out of your bully, no matter what your guidance counselor, principal, and teacher say. It's fine. Just punch your bully in the face.
I gotta tell you what Braun's promo was like tonight on Raw, but I'll get to that when we get to the tag match later on. But
please tell me that they were just making fun of that the entire time.
Oh, I gotta tell you,
it was just a PSA that went the wrong way again, but promo, like in the funny time.
All right, his promo basically, this is what I'll say right now. His promo basically to me sounded more like a mock on the PSA shit.
Oh, thank you.
It sounded like
Braun, you make me so happy.
I'll explain. I'll explain the promo later. You'll fucking die laughing. I'll even try to get the audio. But yeah. So when she's done this promo, I'm actually looking at the Titantron. I'm going, please, someone come out. Please tell me that WWE had some sense and thought themselves, hey, what would be cool if we had Nia versus Awesome Kong?
Yeah, have some kind of Hoss versus Hoss thing going on. Because
the thing with her,
give her somebody that she can actually face and not
she needs to be saddled.
Do you really see anybody? They've gone into a situation where it's like it's a kind of like an Andre situation. Where it's like, realistically can beat her?
But she needs to be saddled with a veteran, though. That's another thing. She needs a good program with a veteran because my dad said it. My dad was a little more brutal on them than I was. When he's watching this match, he's like, I don't know about you, but I think they're both green. And I said, but they're good workers. He's like, no. He goes, if they're good friends outside the ring, and they're in a match for the women's championship, they should not be having this dull of a match. I was trying to explain this. So he's like, yeah, but you're not getting the point. He said, my dad was saying, you need a girl in there to call the match, and neither of these girls look like they're taking real direction.
Yeah, to be honest, it was kind of meandering towards the mid part of the match because there's a lot of spots that were just basically her throwing her around the ring. It's like you can't just keep doing that over and over again.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, we have to be fair. I mean, we give Brock shit for that. So why should they? We'll just say it's equal opportunity. We make fun of Brock for it. Well, we're gonna fucking go after them too. Yeah. Again, I can't really say too much about this match. It's just it was just mediocre.
Yeah.
What was the next match on the card?
We had Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy, and honestly, and you love.
I woke up. Oh, okay. How many RKOs? Okay.
And you love Orton. You love Orton.
I love Orton. I just. It's like sometimes you have to kill what you love. It's a problem. It's just like at a certain point I'm just like, dude, you should probably just retire now. Like I'm just because the love isn't there anymore. Like you can tell he's just doing it because he's going through the motions, and as sad as it is to say, it's just like you're kind of just taking a spot for a guy that could end up doing getting over and doing the exact same thing. But obviously people are gonna just go, well, he's Randy Orton, so and what I end up seeing now is anytime he comes out, it's the same, it's the same bullshit. It's the draping DDT, it's the superplex, and it's the RKO. And then, they sometimes if we're lucky, they tease a punt, which ends up being a fucking fake out, and then back into the RKO for the fucking third time.
Oh, you're also forgetting about the Garvin stomps.
Oh yeah. I just at this point I'm not super like I like when he's on and he could have a great match. There's been cases, but it's been such a fucking long time. It's been such a long fucking time since he's had a fantastic match, and I kind of gave up hope because he had all that potential, especially going from that whole feud that they had originally with him and Bray, and they had all that fucking setup, and it just went to shit. And ever since then, I've just been like, look, I love Randy Orton, I love his work, and I'm still a big fan of his. I just when you make the jokes about him and Bobby Roode being kind of like the same thing, I kind of get your the whole point. And it depresses me when I see his matches now. It's like it's come to this. It's really come to this.
You know what's sad? But you know what is sad though? I watch Randy Orton's matches and I watch Bobby Roode's matches, and it's like as much shit I like to give Bobby Roode. I also too sometimes I do it to piss people off because they love this gimmick, and it's like I'm kind of like whatever. But like Bobby Roode, like he has good matches. I can't say he sucks in the ring. He's just mediocre. He doesn't offend me or piss me off. It's just he's one of these guys too, where it's like I had my fill of Bobby Roode since like the fucking 5th reunion of Beer Money. So it's like, now he's here, and it's like, okay, whatever. But that's how I feel about Orton sometimes too. It's like, okay, Orton's on, he's on, but how many times are we just gonna sit here and wait and wait and wait for him to do something impressive? Or instead of we just go, okay, well, you overstayed your welcome, bye. You could come in for a Royal Rumble every now and then. You could come out in WrestleMania program, but bye. We don't need you. We don't need you on Backlash.
Honestly, I feel like you should pull a Jericho and just like leave, because every time that, like, I remember when Orton left he left what, like 2 or 3 years ago, and he had that kind of had like a 1 or 2 year like leave from the company, and then he came back like, I want to say he came back around like 2015, 2016. So right around, it was 2015, because I remember he came back for that WrestleMania. Which WrestleMania was that? What was that? 30? Not 30.
31.
32. Was it 30? It was 31?
31, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it was he came back for 31, and he had that match with Seth Rollins. He had the transition from the curb stomp into the RKO. Great match. But that's sometimes what he needs. He needs to like go away for a little bit and come back and have somebody that is gonna pull a good match out of him. I mean, it's the same thing. To a certain extent, it's kind of a similar problem. I mean, we don't really see it as much with John Cena. Cena's usually consistently good with his matches. I think he needs to just. I hate to say it. I think he needs to just go away for a little bit. Come back.
Why couldn't they? Why couldn't they have had just another match of Jeff Hardy versus Shelton Benjamin? Or even just done it for the first time tonight. We're all on this card, I should say.
To be honest, I'm getting to the point where even Jeff Hardy's kind of getting into that like whole situation.
I'm not too. How I put? I'm not off the Jeff Hardy train just yet. I'm still holding hope. I'm holding on to hope. At least for like when they finally pair him again with Matt, so they could do the Brother Nero thing.
I don't know. I've never been too huge on his wrestling, in general. I mean, he's always been. Like Soup is kind of like down on Edge in terms of like, oh well, he's a tag team. Just stick to being tag team. Wrestlers.
I do like. I'm okay with them splitting up, especially now where it's like Matt has a great character, and Jeff is always going to be Jeff. But ultimately, them as a tag team is obviously better. But it's not the worst thing. It's just, I hated their feud against each other, if that makes sense. Outside of the broken shit, them in WWE, their feuds were not good.
Yeah, especially that feud. What was it? What year was that around? That was like what?
2009.
Shit, yeah, it's been a while.
2009, and they only did that whole thing with Matt Hardy turning on Jeff because it leaked out that Christian was coming back to the company.
That's right. Like Wasn't that like right after they came back from TNA, and then they ended up going back to TNA right after that?
Well, no, Christian came back to TNA. Jeff Hardy came back. Jeff Hardy went to TNA in like 2004, came back to WWE around 2006, and then went to TNA around like 2010.
Oh, okay.
And then Matt would go on, follow him, obviously, but but yeah, Christian was coming back right from TNA and did that whole thing. But anyway, our next match was Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass.
Goddamn! I wish we had some crickets. I kind of just look. I love Daniel Bryan. Big Cass. I think the crowd kind of said it best. Where's Enzo?
I'm so fucking happy. So fucking happy that picked up on camera. I had no fucking idea, because as soon as I heard that, I was like, they're going to censor this. And it picked up, and they didn't do anything to it. I'm like, wow, okay. But, yeah, my dad was flipping out. He's like, they're doing that, and he's just like, really? And then he just yells really loud. The guy, he's like, Enzo doesn't know how to work. And then, like, a few people turned around and booed my dad. Hey, he starts laughing. He turns to me. He's like, fucking marks. So, yeah.
I'm just actually picturing your dad ending up doing that, too.
So, yeah, my dad got booed during the pay-per-view.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. Bobby getting booed on a pay-per-view makes sense.
What? They would never boo a beach ball.
Yeah, that's true.
They would be bouncing him around.
If they can lift him up.
Oh god.
Yeah, but
he's light as a feather.
Is it? You know what sucks?
You blow something up with that much hydrogen. You're gonna helium. Sorry. Hydrogen, and you fucking explode.
You know what really sucks about this with Cass? As I'm watching the match, I'm like, and Joe Numbers surprisingly had the same fucking thought. And even though he had a fucking Twitter, a little bit of a Twitter war going on with Corbin over the weekend, but me and him at the same thought. It was like, this actually would have been better if Corbin was in the match with Daniel Bryan.
Corbin probably would have put on a better performance.
Yeah,
it would make more sense. Corbin is better.
Fucking
I hate giving Corbin some kind of fucking props, but
Cass.
Yeah, he still kind of sucks, but Cass is so much worse.
Cass is just he's uncomfortable. He's like, you can't even joke and say he's as bad as Sid. Sid is better than him. This guy's just he needs fucking work. If he's worker, he needs to go home.
Why don't they just fucking complete the unholy fucking trinity and take Apollo Crews and put fucking Titus O'Neil in and Baron Corbin and just put in take out Baron Corbin. He actually knows how to work sometimes. No, you know what you do? You put fucking Jinder Mahal, Titus, and Cass, and you call them the fucking worthless squad, and then you fucking send them to TNA.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh man, dude, they would get all the belts. The X Division title, the Knockouts belts. Anthem would fucking cream themselves looking at that faction.
Yeah, we have an ethnic, we have an ethnic guy who's Indian. We got a black dude. We got a giant fucking white dude who could be the leader. just turn them. We'll turn them into the new NWO.
Except they're more PC friendly. They're the millennial NWO. They're the MWO. They're the Millennial World Order.
Oh fuck! Oh my god!
We got the name.
Eric, I swear to God, I'm gonna kick you in the fucking nuts as hard as I can if that ever becomes a thing.
What, the Millennial World Order?
Yeah. I swear to God, if that ever becomes a thing, I'm gonna kick you as hard in the nuts as I possibly can, because that is literally something they would fucking come up with. That is such. I swear to God, either someone in Anthem would make that up, or somebody in WWE, or fucking Stephanie will end up saying, "Oh, we had NWO, we might as well just come with MWO."
And they can't do, and they don't want to do too sweet because it has too many meanings that's not PC. So they're gonna do a pinky swear. That'll be the gesture. It'll do a fucking pinky swear. There's nothing too anti-PC about that.
God.
Then we go on to Carmella versus Charlotte again. Fucking.
I love the fact the person who's from New Jersey is the one that gets booed the fucking hardest.
She's not, dude. She's from Boston.
What?
Huh?
Really?
Yeah. She's from fucking Boston.
I gotta look that up.
She's not even... The whole Staten Island thing is a fucking work.
I know the Staten Island thing was a work. I thought... I might have got confused with fucking Enzo.
Maybe. Yeah, she's from like the fucking I forget what, she's not in Boston, but she's in Massachusetts. She's in one of those towns. I forget where, but yeah, nah, she's not a Jersey person or a New York person or anything of the above.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Worcester, Massachusetts. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, Worcester, that's it. But yeah, you know what though? I am amazed, and the match wasn't it wasn't, again, like you say about a lot of this pay-per-view, wasn't the drizzling shits. I will say though, with Carmella, I do like that code of silence finish she has, where she wraps the legs around the girl's neck. Like, that's cool, but like the finish itself obviously was fucking terrible.
What the fuck was that? Like, oh, I'm gonna kick you in the back of the leg, and you're gonna sell the leg, and I'm gonna pin you. What?
Why couldn't they fucking done, like, I don't know, remove a turnbuckle, and she throws Charlotte in the turnbuckle, and then rolls her up and has her feet on the ropes? That would have been better.
But it not only makes fucking Charlotte look like a fucking goober, it makes Asuka look like just as bad. It's just like, oh well, I just lost to this fucking idiot who's getting beaten by Carmella.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I lost to this Tuba, who lost to Carmella.
The scary thing is you can. Why is it you can do the fucking like impersonations of the women better than the men? Oh, God.
Oh, because you have to try to do better.
Oh God. Oh.
You know what I have to say to me doing women's impersonations better than the men? Sorry, no speak English.
What the fuck? You sounded like Sean Connery.
Oh God! Yeah, because I could do a Japanese man's accent tremendously. Yeah. Okay.
It's Japanese, man. It's like the fucking easiest. You just like you talk. Oh my
Nakamura
God.
does not sound like your typical Japanese man, okay?
God.
But
Oh man, you said,
whatever the
dude, you
fuck.
sound like Sean Connery.
Yeah,
You know, like
I'll take that compliment, I guess.
I'm Shinsuke Nakamura. I like, I like my, I like my vodka martini shaken, not stirred.
I want to kick AJ Styles in the nuts.
God. I'm just picturing fucking Sean Connery doing a Kinshasa now. Getting really pissed off, and then just like Kinshasa fucking AJ Styles in the head. It's like, that's what I did to my wife when she gave me a lip.
Oh god. Well,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that sounds like that's actually pretty horrible because that's actually what happened. There's like this in real life there was like some Barbara Walters interview where he was just like, yeah, I hit my wife when she gets annoying. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, Sean, you shouldn't be fucking saying that in public. Oh, that's all right. I'll fucking hit you too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but anyway, AJ Nakamura, look, okay, well first off, I'm going to tell you hearing that
Ew.
song live is fucking awesome.
I thought the match was fantastic.
The finish
Again,
sucked. Okay.
finish.
Yeah, again, the match was great. I have nothing wrong with the match itself other than they should have not, like, AJ Styles has been getting kicked in the nuts all month or whatever, and it should have been more of a brawl. It should have not, there should have been no fucking face locks or anything like that. But again, that's a minor nitpick. They were doing plenty of brawling around. AJ was throwing him everywhere.
Can I just say this one thing? And this is the thing that it kind of makes me annoyed because you AJ, you keep getting beamed in the nuts. And it's like I gotta find this clip because it reminds me of like the Dragon Ball Z abridged, where in they take this like clip from like the show and they like edited like new audio into it. So there's this funny line from like they ended up redoing like one of the Dragon Ball Z movies where Vegeta gets like it looks like Vegeta gets kicked in the dick, and Vegeta's like, why does he keep kicking me in the dick?
Oh well, yeah,
And
of course that's a famous fucking quote.
and the entire time it's just like at a certain point I'm just thinking of that. I'm just like I find it hilarious because he just keeps getting beamed in the nuts every single week. At this point, I don't think AJ's having any more kids, which is either a benefit for AJ's wife or just for his other kids in general.
Dude, AJ has 4 kids. He's fine.
Yeah.
He's
done. I think he's done at this point. I think he's got Homer Simpson in the fucking nuts. No, but at this point, when if you're AJ, wouldn't you go, hey, maybe I should start wearing a cup?
Well, okay, the cup is. See, the cup only works if you're hitting the person in the front, but you know Nakamura is always hitting him from behind. The cup is not really going to protect him all that much.
Is that like I feel like that's just I feel like that's not true, but when you have some kind of protection there, just in case.
Yeah, they could have did something with that. Yeah, no, I agree. They could have had him where it's just in reality, it wouldn't do much. But again, in reality too, he's not really hitting him in the fucking nuts either. But you know, it's just again, it's the illusion of it. It would have worked. You know.
Yeah, but like, okay, you're telling me you can't just go, and this is like how insane, and this is just me fantasy booking because of how well, obviously how fucking insane that whole NXT takeover with using something as like a fucking weapon, especially like a like the knee brace. So couldn't you realistically work a fucking cup into a a situation where that's a weapon? Like, could you imagine him getting kicked in the fucking nuts, and then you have Nakamura gloating in the background, like thinking AJ's selling, like getting kicked in the nuts, and then suddenly AJ's pulling out a cup, and he goes, it's like a metal cup, and cracks Nakamura over the back of the head with it.
Yeah, but again, I feel really bad. I feel bad for both these guys, and I feel bad because people are immediately shit on the match because, oh man, like, the finish was terrible, so therefore the match sucked. No, the finish was 30 seconds of an entire, 20-minute match. I did not have much of a problem. I had fun watching this match. I thought this should have been the main event with a different finish. Or they could have done this, and then Shane could have came out and said, well, we're not doing this right now. We're not ending the pay-per-view like this. And then they could have restarted the fucking match.
Well, my biggest issue is the finish didn't make sense because isn't it supposed to be like a fucking Extreme Rules match?
Oh, no. And even though it's a no DQ match, it's the rules still applies that if both guys are down on the ground, the ref still has to count to 10. He won't count on the floor, but in the ring, it's automatic. You have to count. Now, you know what I'm thinking? I think they'll probably just wind up doing a last man standing match.
Okay, I mean,
which I'm totally fucking cool with, and it'll probably be next month at Money in the Bank too. So, but again, I just thought maybe this should have been the main event. The WWE title should always be in the main event. A little bit of a better finish. But it is what it is. They could have, if they wanted to, they could have just had fucking AJ retain in a better way. But I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. People are making it worse than it really is. But then we go on to which also on the live end. This is when people were getting, people were thinking the pay-per-view was actually over, so therefore they were leaving, and obviously they were pissed of the finish. But again, some people realized, oh yeah, Roman's the main event, and they were out. But yeah, so people were already started leaving the show, and
which is kind of disrespectful. I mean, as much as we don't as much as we're not fans of Roman, come on, at least give the guy the guy is not that bad. I feel like I'm flip flopping here, where I'm like, oh, I don't like the fact that he's the guy, but regardless of whether or not you like the guy or not, the guy is there to entertain you, and he's not a bad wrestler. I can understand if they fucking suddenly put Cass or Titus O'Neil in the main event, and then, even then, you paid money. You paid money to be there. You're just they're there to entertain you. At least give them the fucking benefit of the doubt. Just to finish the match. You can do your stupid, chants and bullshit, and try to hijack the show, during, like, I get, see, this is the thing that gets me. I think people need to stop trying to hijack the show when people are doing the match itself. Let's say if it's a long, boring, bullshit promo, fine. I don't really care because it's a fucking promo. But everything else, like, just give the wrestlers the fucking attention, because you know what, they're gonna end up killing themselves just to get the fucking extra little pop out of you, so you're not bitching because you paid $200 for, and you suddenly decided, oh, this had to be the greatest match you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, but actually that was
WWE.
Yeah, but no, but the next match was though Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley against KO and Sammy, and Braun got a really nice reaction, Bobby not so much, unfortunately. I think eventually they will turn him, and KO and Sammy, tremendous reaction. People were singing the song. They were chanting "Olay." There was an El Generico chant. There was a Fightstein fight chant. So people were being smarky.
Well, I mean, this is right around the area where people would be going to see Ring of Honor, so
exactly.
This was a squash, though. To be honest,
it was weird. It was a weird match, but again, this was a Monday Night Raw match. Did it really need to be on a pay-per-view? Not necessarily, but again,
yeah. But did it need to be like the match after the fucking after the title match?
Why couldn't it, and it's like, again, I'm still gonna go by the WWE title match should have been the main event, but for this to be a cool down match, which is what it was, yeah, it is what you expect. I thought it was a little weird, the whole Sammy slapping Kevin thing, and them going back and forth, taking moves from Bobby and Braun, but it was something to get the crowd also hype more, like, back into the show, because like I said, people are leaving, people are pissed off of the WWE Championship match finish. So, like, Braun got the crowd going, which, again, maybe this guy should be the fucking main event. I don't know. You asked me. I think the guy that you have to rely on a reaction for should be the fucking main event, but, that's just me.
You're getting reliable pops out of this guy, and you're not. How is he not a champion? How is he not the champion now?
How is he not bitching out Lesnar? And so here's the promo I wanted to tell you. So long story short, Braun's in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And
I heard about that. Him and Finn got put into the match now.
Yeah. So he's on. Yeah. So Braun, had a talk with Angle in the ring, and Angle's talking about something about you're gonna be in the match with all these guys, whatever. You're gonna climb the ladder, and Braun goes, "Let me tell you a little story." He's like, when I was a teenager, my friends, they were being real jerks to me, and they built this stupid treehouse. And then, they didn't, and I offered help, and they didn't want my help, so they built it and went up there. And you know what I did? And then Kurt goes, "Let me guess, Braun, you took a ladder and you knocked them all off. You knocked them all out of the treehouse, or you knocked the treehouse over." He goes, "No, even better. I took the whole tree and knocked it over."
Oh my god, that's amazing.
He's like, he's like, they were jerks to me, so I waited till they were all in the tree house and I knocked the whole tree over. Again, this goes back to when Roman was trying to do the hickory dickory bullshit back in the day. You know, the suffering succotash shit. Whereas, like, he didn't have the charisma to deliver a silly promo like that. Braun does. Braun makes it come out like... He comes out as, like, yes, it's hokey, but he's making himself sound like a badass, too. So
that's amazing, though. But, like, you're basically taking a line that should be stupid and, you know, like, supplementary, but just completely retarded. But like he makes something sound that goofy, sound that menacing, which is hilarious. And that kind of like that in a way that kind of, and we keep making the allusion to Andre, but that is very Andre like to like take a line like to take a line like that and make it sound kind of, like, yeah, don't fuck with me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's like a little bit of embellishing to the level of, like, what Andre would do. Well, not that Andre would embellish, but it's more like, you hear these stories that you think are unbelievable. It's, he has this larger-than-life attraction to him, so... to me, it's like, yes, I get it. He is, I say this plenty of times on this show that, he is an attraction. He should have a job as long as he desires here. The problem, though, is he is the most fucking over between him and Roman. And a lot of people say, make him the fucking guy. Why not? Why not even experiment with it? I know because it's a thing where it's like,
the situation is, if they do that and it fails, then they're back to fucking square one. So I think they should have went with them though in the long run.
But would it fail? Think about it. Would it really fail that much?
I don't believe so, but it's a situation where I think they're afraid to, I think they're afraid to like go to that extent because if it does fail, it's kind of their last shot to like get a guy over like that, because then everybody's gonna go, well, if they couldn't get the fucking giant guy, then it's knocking fucking ambulances over and coming in and throwing people out of a battle royale fucking 10 at a time. How can anyone get over? And it's also partially them screwing up is like they have this adherence, and again this is still this is going back to what even Punk said. It was like they're so reliant on their part-timers, they can't reliably get anyone over anymore, and it's the same problem that they have with Roman. It's like they give Roman these stupid lines, and they get Roman so close to like actually having giving him some kind of pathos, some kind of emotional resonance with the fans, either to hate him or to actually empathize with him, and then suddenly they fucking take it away. So
yeah. Yeah, obviously, though, the next match, and the last match, was Roman and Joe, and like I was telling on the Soup yesterday that people were, little kids were sleeping, people were leaving, some guy got up and went, I paid all this money to watch this shit, and just walked out, and, and then there's videos of thousands of people leaving and all this crap, and by all means, it does not give a good impression, and a lot of that was during when Joe had a pretty long sleeper hold on Roman Reigns, and of course people are gonna the creative team and WWE's probably gonna blame Joe for it when it's not his fault. It's They were trying to do a simple heel babyface thing that isn't working because, as we may try hard to give Roman the benefit of the doubt a lot of times, and don't get me wrong, he does bust his ass, he does try, but the thing with him is, it's just, you have all these talented guys on the payroll. He's not as talented as a guy like Braun. He's not as, charismatic as a guy like Braun. And, he doesn't have this connection with the audience at all. So that's why people resent this push. Because it's like, well, how are we supposed to like a guy if, we don't have any fucking attachment to him whatsoever? There's no story behind him. It's the Shield and this push, and that's his story.
I feel like they had something there. There's been times where they could have gotten him over, or at the very least have him be a villain. Like it's never really, to be honest, there's never been a situation where a guy has just been straight up babyface and not been a villain beforehand. And
fucking give him Paul Heyman and call it a day.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't understand, because he can look like he's a menacing guy, because he's got that, like, he has that look there. He's like, he has the look like, I'll fuck your ass up, like, dead up. He can look menacing, but the problem is every time they try to give the guy genuine pathos or any type of emotional stakes, they close, like, they suddenly just like close the book. It's like every time they get close to like giving us something with the guy, like going, hey, there's something new to this guy. There's something actually, like with some kind of substance, and then suddenly it's like, oh well, too bad. I feel like it's that commercial where the guy has the dollar on the on the hook, and he keeps dragging it next to that, like the Chinese girl, and she's like keeps reaching for the dollar. It's like, oh, you gotta get it. You gotta get that dollar. Go get it. Yeah. And that's basically, that might as well just be like the character development for Roman. It's like, oh, you almost have it. You almost have it there. Oh, he's so close. And every time we think he's gonna get some kind of meaningful like character development, it falls apart. And especially considering, like, you could have had meaningful character development, not only with him failing to win the Universal title, but even as far back as when they had Great Balls of Fire, you could have had a really good heel turn there. They ended up turning. I don't understand why they didn't go full on with the double turn, because they ended up turning Braun face anyway. Why? What was the point of keeping?
Because they like, Soup is trying to figure out, and not just them, like Solid Monster, Brian Alvarez, a lot of these people, all trying to figure out what is it that WWE is so persistent on Roman Reigns trying to be a babyface. And again, everyone's like, fire this guy gets fired. No, he's solid in the ring. He has good matches. His problem is, it goes to what WWE always stands by. Good matches can only get you so far. Good matches will get you, like, if he was on the fucking indies, people would love this guy. Quite honestly, he does have good matches. It's just the fucking the Superman punch and the spear. He needs more than just that. He could do more than that, but ultimately there's no charisma there compared to a lot of the other guys on the roster, and there's got to be something there. I tell
you one thing right now, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. You take out Roman, you replace him with Tama Tonga, and you have probably the next Rock. Just in terms of charisma and overall appeal, you have a superstar. If you take out Roman, you put in Tama Tonga, you have somebody who would be so over with the crowd you wouldn't fucking believe. He'd be like a unholy mixture of The Rock and Stone Cold
And
in
then
terms of just overall popularity.
and then you put in Roman Reigns with Tonga Loa and Bad Luck Fale. You have 3 badass fucking Pacific Islanders ready to tear your head off.
Exactly. I feel like his issue is he needs to be in a group that he is menacing. I think the issue is he needed to be in the mid card for a while, because he got hot-shotted into a situation that he had no bearing on, and they haven't given him anything. They haven't given him proper character development. They haven't given him proper, proper stakes or motivation. Because Daniel Bryan worked for years to get to that point where he ended up being a top guy in the company, and the fans took notice. The whole reason he got there was because the fans knew that he was getting the short end of the stick. With Roman, there's no immediate stakes. There's nothing there to make the fans go, yeah, this guy's getting fucked over by the company. We feel bad for him. We want him to do well. And there was nothing there that was like that. It ended up being a situation where, he got into that situation, and people knew the reason that he was there. It's because his family, he has a powerful family, and his family got him to that point. And Vince, for whatever reason, maybe I don't know, one of his family members from the 70s or 80s took a picture of Pat Patterson getting cornholed by Vince. I have no fucking clue, but he has to push those Samoans.
Yeah, maybe because his dad is Sika. Sika told Vince, "You push my boy, and if you don't push my boy, I'm gonna eat you for lunch."
Could be the case too. I think
that's all I can think
issue.
Dude, honestly, if you tell me, because you gotta turn your old school brain on for a second here. I think that Sika could have as much to do with it as possibly. He possibly could have as much to do with Roman's pushes, you really couldn't, fathom. I think that this guy, Roman, that is, he's in this company because, it's his bloodline. It's, this is in his DNA, which, again, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that you have to be a baby face. Like, those Wild Samoans were fucking savage fucking heels in the 70s and 80s. There was nothing about them that people looked at and went, "Oh yeah, I could totally have my kid take a picture with them." And like Roman, it's like, oh, because he's a guy with wet hair and a fucking and a trimmed goatee, and he puts in blue eye contacts, and women wanna bang him. It's, oh, we gotta push him because of that. No.
I love the fact that they basically did the exact same thing with his cousins, which is just as funny. That they basically have nearly the same look as Roman, but they're over because they were heels, and they have a lot. It's like 100 times more charisma.
Which another thing. I'm sorry.
I have no idea, because they're so much more charismatic. Obviously, they're better workers. Yeah. The Usos are so much better. It's not even funny. They are way better in terms of overall ability, but it dawns on me when you really think about it. It's like, how many guys have his exact look, and have like they get like the Usos don't get a lot, but I get enough that they're able to show their personality and have some kind of emotional resonance with the crowd. He doesn't have that. I don't think unless something gives in a major way. I don't think it's ever going to happen for him because he's gotten to the point where people don't want to see him. People do not want to see this guy. People do, and it's gotten to the point where he doesn't just have Xbox heat. He's got like I don't even know. He's on a different fucking plane now. The best way I could describe it is he's got fucking Clara Lynch heat.
Clara Lynch is more over.
Yeah.
No, but here, like, and then again, I know we spend, I know, like, a lot of shows spend a lot of time on this Roman thing, but the thing is, it's like, it does just keep getting worse and worse, and it's like, yeah, well, we could joke around that WWE's gonna make money despite of it, which is true, people could say all they want, until WWE financially declines, which they're not, and they're supposedly a lot more successful right now than they were in the fall. Like, their stock went up drastically, supposedly. So, yeah, as long as they're thriving financially, they're not going to give 5 fucks what a lot of diehard fans really want. Unless they see it themselves and go, okay, maybe we should give other guys an opportunity. As opposed to, just, hey, we want the position Roman, but again, here's another thing too, and we could, eventually leave off on this. If Roman was such a reliable babyface for this company and such a fucking asset as a babyface, you would not need to bring back Brock Lesnar for pops. You would not need John Cena as much for pops. You would not need to keep Randy Orton around. You would not need to fucking shovel out The Undertaker or Triple H. Or Chris Jericho, for that matter, as great as Jericho is. You would not need any of these legends and part-timers if Roman actually did his fucking job as a character well. Not as a worker. Like I said, his work is fine, but as a character, he's not connecting. A lot of that has to do with hindrance. There's too much hindering him, and it's... okay, in order to be a good baby face, you gotta be a better heel. You gotta be a heel in order to work as a baby face. So, if you switch him, you put someone in the meantime, you let him be a heel, and pretty much that's really it.
I say that they should do that because that's exactly what happened to The Rock. That's how he got over. You do something like you get him over by just doing something where you can get the guy over reliably, and you have a situation where you could have the guy you can have the guy do heel work, get a little bit of heat on him himself. I mean, he has all the heat in the world now, but eventually, if you become a good enough villain, people start to like the villain. It always ends up working. The more heinous the villain, especially in wrestling, the more that the people start to empathize with the motivations of the villain. Eventually, you start to lose heat, and then eventually you can become a babyface because the fans start to go, hey, why are we booing the guy? That's why all the good heels also made really good baby faces. Like for every heel turn, there was always some kind of logic to it. It wasn't just a heel turn for the sake of being a heel turn. Savage had some reason for being a heel because he was afraid that he was going to lose his valet, or he's in love with Miss Elizabeth, and he thought that, I mean, in real life there was his wife, but I mean, in terms of the like the character development, he was like, I'm afraid of losing my spot, basically losing everything to a guy that I'm jealous of, and like you can't really fault the guy because that's actual human pathos. That's like actual human emotion, and
Yeah.
when you actually bring some kind of human emotion to a character, obviously people are gonna eventually empathize with the character. Same
Absolutely.
thing with Stone Cold. Stone Cold, Stone Cold's a badass, and his entire heel run was, I'm a badass. I just say whatever comes to my head. But then when they did the double turn, it was like, well, I'm a badass, but I'm not, I can be heelish, but at the same time, there's a part of me that's, has a never say die attitude that's, gonna fight through adversity. And they basically kept that going and made him into this anti-hero badass. He was an anti-hero badass, almost like on the verge of being a tweener, but he was still a babyface, and people latched onto that because he was still a badass, but he was the badass that was going to get things done, and he was the hero for that era. And Roman's really not shown any of that. He's just there to be there, and I think the fans, as much as I'm starting to feel sorry for the guy, but at the same time, WWE needs to learn a fucking lesson, and either realize you can't force, like, as much as the company's grown in leaps and bounds, they can't really pick and choose who goes over, because the fans in the long run are usually the ones that make that decision, and they have always made that decision, because let's be honest, for every Hulk Hogan or Savage or Ultimate Warrior, there's been situations where they try to get somebody over and they forced it, and guess what? He got a Lex Luger, a fucking Diesel, and a Vladimir Kozlov. So there you go.
Yep. Well, I don't know. Overall, what would you rate Backlash?
I would give it a C. There's
Okay.
nothing there. There's nothing there that is. It's an average pay-per-view. There's nothing there that's above average. It's not a solid. It's not a super solid pay-per-view. I wouldn't give it a B, and I sure as hell ain't gonna give it an A. But I'm not gonna give it a D rating. I'm not gonna give it an F. It didn't offend me. I ended up just kind of going, eh. I still think they're, gotta have a ways to go with Roman. I think people are gonna forgive the pay-per-view, depending on whether or not they end up having a good blow off between Nakamura and AJ.
Absolutely.
If
it's coming. There's a bigger picture here with them, and it's like, because the reason why people wanted that, because two sides of the coin where people were like, oh, we just want to see Nakamura with the belt, and then the other side, it's, oh, we want to see Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles so we could chant TNA. So it's like people want to fucking move on already, because millennials, we have to have instant gratification, and everything has to move and move and move and move on to the next thing.
Well, I mean, it's not just millennials. It's to be honest. It's also just the way things have become in terms of storyline progression. We always have to have quickly now.
Yeah,
and
it's an Instagram story.
But it's not only just that. It's the instant gratifications. always been the name of the game because it's been done since the 90s, which you're flip flopping belts every which way, and you have fucking like 10 title changes within a fucking year. So
Right.
To be honest, if they wanted to, they could end up leaving the belt on and I kind of don't think that they should, but if they wanted to, they could leave the belt on him till SummerSlam. But I got a feeling, I think you're right, that they're going to end up changing belts around Money in the Bank.
I see it coming. I see it coming at some point.
I would rather, to be honest, I'd rather, if they were going to do anything, I'd rather it just be, I'd rather Nakamura win at a major pay-per-view. It would be kind of a spit in the face where it's like, oh well, he won it at a fucking B pay-per-view. It's just to me, it's just like, yeah, you could end up winning at SummerSlam or a big
quite
major
honestly though, I do think Money in the Bank is like the honorary 5th pay-per-view, because it is the pay-per-view where we get the whole fucking answer of, okay, is there gonna be where's the progression of the briefcase gonna come into play? Because that's always been a thing for since the Ruthless Aggression era, where it's like, okay, what are we gonna who's gonna get the case? Okay, who's gonna cash in? So it's like there is always an interest for that pay-per-view. So if they did something on that wouldn't be that bad. I mean, look, CM Punk's shining moment was taking the belt at Money in the Bank in Chicago. So by all means,
you got a point there.
So by all means, Money in the Bank is like the honorary 5th. So it's like if you change the title, then that's not that bad. Yes, SummerSlam would be cool too, but I do think if they did that, it's not like. I don't look at it as a B pay-per-view thing. I would look at it as
I'm starting to think SummerSlam is becoming a B pay-per-view. So I maybe forget what I said, because the last couple SummerSlams have been. Ugh.
Yeah, they've. Well, you gotta remember too, they're going right up against and fucking take over Brooklyn.
True.
So
which is hilarious because it's their own company.
It's their
gotta
own
love them.
fucking company, yep.
Their own fucking company, and they're. Yeah, it's WWE for you. The only competition that they want is their own.
Really, that's their own fucking. That's the real brand split competition there. Fucking NXT in the main roster.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, that'll do it for this week. We already did a little over 2 hours. There will not be a KTR in the morning. We'll do one. We obviously will be back next week though. But hope you enjoyed this show. It will be on the Facebook page. We gotta try to. We'll try to get on there as much as possible. I'm sorry I haven't been on there nearly as much as I used to be. Keeping up with you guys and all that stuff. But KVDogRadio.com. You can find out all information on us, and we got to do some updates on that too. We got to let everyone know what's going on with May. But
oh yeah, you can share some of the pictures.
I'll add some Backlash stuff, and we'll make some jokes about Earls and all that stuff.
Jokes. This is real life, Bubby.
Yeah, you damn right.
It's also amazing that my Lord and Savior has come back. He's back from the dead,
brother.
And now he's black.
And he has some machismo.
Oh god.
Oh man.
That popped me so bad. That popped me.
I had a feeling it would. God. I had a feeling it would, but all right, guys. So, kayfabetalkradio.com, facebook.com/kayfabetalkradio. We're on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at EricTheRed211. You got J.R. Earl's Art, our part-time Brock Lesnar of the show, our Beach Ball Lesnar, and you got Mr. Understar Bonesaw for all your gripes and complaints in the show, and if try to offend him somehow so he could rip on you instead.
Yeah, like, oh god, then it just makes me very important. Ugh.
Yeah. So, alright guys, till next time, you know what to do. Keep it kayfabe.
Bitches.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of what you just heard, please go to KayfabeTalkRadio.com, your official source for everything Kayfabe Talk Radio. You can find our links for iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, which is Facebook.com/Kayfabe Talk Radio, and our YouTube page. Our YouTube page features all live streams of Kayfabe Talk Radio weekly episodes, AM Thunder, which is our pay-per-view review show, as well as custom-made montages of pro wrestlers, mostly from New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor. Till next time, keep it kayfabe, bitches.